Thank you, American Youthworks, for having us again for our AUTM Horizons session. As you know, I'm Issa White, your program director, and my job is to make sure we're sharing all the experience, the knowledge, and or job opportunities and educational resources for you to join the tech industry. I'm a little rusty. It's been a while. So, as you know, even if we actually have an updated stat for the population for the United States compared to what it is in your major tech companies and tech industry in general, but I can tell you it's still the same problem we're experiencing. There's a gap in terms of the number of Black and Latino individuals in the United States compared to what it is in the tech industry. And so our job is to provide opportunities like this so you can get more into touch with those who are in these fields already, who have these professions. You can put a name to a face when it comes to some of these jobs that you hear about in the tech space, and start communicating and networking with these individuals to start learning more about the roles and opportunities that are out there. And so today I have Darraj Hossain. He is a big data analytical consultant. And so his journey is a little bit different from some of those who we presented in the past. So I'll let him go ahead and introduce himself. We can go ahead and start. Darraj.
Okay. Hello. Yes. How are you?
How you doing?
Fine. You and almost I mean say hello to Tyan, right? Hello, Tyan, and Julie, right? And Isa, thank you. You helped me lots, and it's my first presentation, right? A little bit, I try my best, but I would like to in advance apology if you don't understand my language barrier, But I try my best. Is a technology language, is a very generic, so I believe you understood what I'm, today presented to you. And what is called Disari, right? Hello, how are you? Yeah, okay, good. Okay. So actually today agenda about me and big data analytical model lab, Google form, and analytical workshop sign up. So actually my focus today is not more academical presentation, and I try to, because I observe, always learning from academical presentation through AWS, big data, Google, Microsoft. It's a really boring, boring. It is good for your learning, but if you go for a lab work, if you go for exercise, if you go for your doing something in a computer with software, then better, a little bit more easy way to follow the step. So I have a lot of different kind of experience over my 30 years, and most time my life with data management. I love data, so still I love, and so when I used to, a student in a master of science in industrial psychology. That time I involved with some research assistant. Is a main research assistant, they need the data, right? So they need the data, and you need to data, the data, clean the data, and validate the data, and after you prepared your report, like COVID-19, what is going on right now, how much data we have, our state-wise, like our state Texas and New York and Washington. So who have data more organized, more research data, they help us properly about COVID vaccine management, and how many old age we have, how many young people we have, right? So that kind of thing. So mostly data, they give you focus, they give you, destination, they give you some helping you better life. But always backend is our programming. So data is a very important. So we try to focus today how to learn our data, what kind of data, how to our nature data. However, you look, flashback my 30 years experience we have. So left side is my education, right? So that is my education, my training, and my, what is called. Middle one is my career, and last one is software. What kind of software we learn and we contribute to my knowledge in our data management. So my university was from my native country, from Bangladesh, and I finished my master's. And then I finished my diploma in computer science application. Also, I take some higher level of IT training. That training like data mining, big data, AWS cloud, Oracle, DBA, that kind of thing. So you have to always connect it with your training. Without training, without workshop, without that, you cannot do anything. So always you keep in touch with, mostly is a training right now, workshop and training webinar. A lot of things is going on right now during COVID-19, Okay. So, however, it's a middle of, I started my career with a first job 1991 after finished my master's is a project under World Bank. So that is called data management. That time I learned a lot of data, how to manage. Next job is a telecom job. It's a huge telecom job. Mean what you are using right now, your cell phone, smartphone. You always calling, you always incoming call, you always outgoing call. You receive the message, voicemail. Your social network. A lot of correspondence go through your smartphone, right?
Mm.
So that is we follow. So
I'm
next,
so sorry.
Mhm.
1 second, please.
Okay.
This darn chat. Okay, keep going.
Okay. Next, it's called like a telecom company. Is okay. What does it mean to live a better life? The better life, what is better life? Better money, good money and good job, good education, good community work, all of best level of your achievement, right? Then when you put together everything, then should be our life will be better. Not like I have a good education, but I don't have a good job. So you cannot manage your better life. You have a money, but you don't have a good job satisfaction, right? So you cannot enjoy your job. So everything should be go through your mind. What is actually better life? So number one, I believe your education. Number two, I believe your training, your professional life, your career, your job, and last of all, I believe that what I am doing now, this is community work. Like Isa White, she is doing like community work, that we learn a lot of things through community work. It's like social network. So we know each other and we help each other. And if you interested in anything, like you want to learn everything, what I learned, then I can help you. It's a free, it's a nothing big deal. So you just ask me, you need help, you interested, then I can help you. These are like data analysis, training. So I have some folder, Google Cloud folder, so I can show you how to you manage the data in what I have. I have already 1 million data set I prepared for, I collecting time to time, and then I put all data together is almost 1 million data, different kind of data,
And so
different
I want
set of data. Yeah.
really quick, Darraj, I want the class to enter some ideas that you have that you would consider a better life. How would you obtain a better life? Is it, thank you, Desiree, to be a better person, to be happy, to be a better person, be happy, let go of things you can't control, always love yourself even when you feel like you're not doing your best, Yeah, that's the key to have a better life, to just be in the present, right? What are
Yeah.
some other ways to have a better life? Does anybody else have any answers? Tyann or
Just like
Julie or Matt?
stay happy.
Stay happy. Okay. And so
Isa,
what is
I interrupt you. Can you a little bit loudly? I cannot hear, you know, a little
Oh,
bit.
yes. So I was
I'm
asking
sorry.
no problem. I was asking the class to enter ideas that they have that can help them have a better life. And so people were, we have, who is that just spoke? I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name when you were talking.
My name's Eloy.
Eloy. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. Okay, thank you, Eloy. Eloy said, being happy, right? And Desiree shared some ideas here in the chat. Julie, thank you, connecting with others. And so Darraj shared with us, essentially his idea is having more resources and better education that would, give you access to jobs and environmental quality and social environment. He mentioned social environment because that's how we met through Autumn, through our donation drive. And since then, we were able to then bring him on to the Horizons. So I'll let you continue, Darraj. Did you hear me?
Is it okay? Hear me?
Yes, you can continue. Go ahead and continue.
Any question about that better life is okay?
I think we're all good.
Okay. So go for next slide,
Okay. So now, if you could enter some words in the chat to answer the question on the screen, you can go ahead.
Again, what I'm talking about. So my understanding, in IT career, you remember that first time, even we don't know about IT, we information technology, we know about computer center. I believe some of know about that. Even we don't know 30 years back, we call computer center, computer, that kind of stuff. Even we don't know IT. When you know about IT, information technology, then your computer, is a backend, hardware is a backend, software is a backend. So we have actually three kind of, my understanding, three kind of career path. Like some people, they like, actually not three, four right now, because cyber security is a really, really important right now. So cyber security, machine learning, artificial intelligence, no matter what. But before computer, then we know information technology. Right now is going on artificial intelligence, machine learning. So a lot of things going on. Why? Because of we need a lot of student like you, you're talented, young talented like you. They like whatever they like. You like hardware, you fly to hardware. You like cyber security, you fly to cyber security. Like router, like a switch, like a coding, like learning about hacking, how to hack system. But you don't do hack your system, but you have to know how to learn how to hack the system, how to other country to try to hack our system. So I have to protect. I have to learn that technology. They call cyber technology. And my case is a big data. Like, it's a data. The data is your idea. So when I told you, when you like COVID-19 in Austin area, when you learn your data, say example, like I have a family, friends and family 100 living around Austin. Okay. So then I next thinking how many older people around 100 my relation. Then I think about who need the vaccine right now. Just that kind of sense of humor, right? A sense of your knowledge. So then you focus on my grandfather, my friend's grandfather, grandmother, they need a vaccine, but even they don't still apply for vaccine registration. So you need a data, right? If you don't data, how do you can request for vaccine? Very simple, right? So data is I like why data is our part of life. Data is play your intention. Data help you make you better life. That is, I love data, and from the beginning to now, over 30 years, still I'm keeping touch with data. If you're interested, Just let me know, and I help you. I try to work together. Okay, please next slide. Okay, look, now you go for big data, right? The big data looks three slide is, three template is here. So when we started our computer, like window, what is called 93, 94, 1993, 94, window just came out, then we know about binary digit, we know about byte, kilobyte, megabyte. But right now, my laptop, what I'm presenting right now, I'm considering terabyte. My laptop with hard disk size is 1 terabyte. I hope you have two also. Why 1 terabyte? Because I need a lot of data. I need to process the data. So I need a big size. But Facebook, Google, AWS, they are using right now, they call a zettabyte, exabyte, zettabyte is like, around here. So a lot of data. You think about that. Facebook, how many message you send every day through your friend, how many messages you receive, how many picture you send them, how many picture you receive. You think about that, right? So 300, you have like 1,000 you connected with them through Facebook to when you upload any picture or download whatever, so everybody got right the way. And 1,000 account, they're holding your picture, your message, your voicemail, no matter what. So Facebook, they're considering a big and big size data, right? That's why they use the data center. So one thing you keep in mind, all data run through cloud, okay? But data somewhere, your data somewhere, maybe in USA, maybe in Australia, maybe in Europe, no matter what. The Facebook know where is your data, right? Data always stored over there, So that's why whatever you do anything, Facebook, they take backup our data and also as your life. The data is a very big, and that is called volume, is a size. Next, variety is a flavor, right? Your drinks, many kinds of drinks, right? Coca-Cola, Fanta, orange, red. This is data variety. Variety means your message, your picture, your sound, your voice, your video is a variety. The data not only for your text, data, everything. That's a variety type of data you always considering. If you think about that, you consider through day one, how many data you handle, right? Like many kind of data, your photo, your voice, your text message, your video call, everything. And velocity, is like your look about the velocity, like, like industry, like, looks over there. Yeah. How many organization they interested, yeah, big data, like, you hear that is like, yeah, thank you. Look, all of is information here. So this slide to help you, the big data, how to people like that, how to use the data, Okay, next slide, please.
That says, so how are people using data right now, and what are we going to be using data for in the future, right?
That is basically I developed by myself, so I would like to offer you, but I promise you, if you interested, it's a very simple, it's not like complicated. It's not like programming. It is not like coding. It is not like Java. It is not like, what is called a backend, a lot of coding, script, programming, C++, not like that. Data, you think about that, you love data, then you can use the data like a very simple template that I developed, and I show you practically how it looks like. So look, let's say, I already collected 1 million data set. Okay, I collected to you. After this slide, I show you practically in my Google Drive. And then you see that how looks like real data. And that is, open source platform. Remember it, open source platform is a free, 100% free, but you making money, $100,000 maybe per year, per month, no matter what you are, because open source platform is nothing license issue, nothing any renew like Microsoft. Like I said, they're asking money like Apple. It's all of a license copy, but open source is not license copy. It's like you use, you develop, and you enjoy. All is your learning. So a lot of platform is running through open source. Next is like Linux, that open source. Hadoop is a big data platform. That is I'm using Hive Data Warehouse. So I'm talking about Facebook, they develop Hive Data Warehouse because they don't want to pay money to Oracle database. They don't want to pay money some other database. That's why Facebook, they developed the Hive Data Warehouse for their own purpose. So all your messages, like you use the Facebook message, remember using, that is always go through that platform. So this is Facebook. They have their own platform. They call Hive Data Warehouse. So they don't need to pay anybody. But still good thing, we can run Hive Data Warehouse. That I'm learning, that I try to help somebody to how to run the Hive Data Warehouse. Next, another thing you have to, if you consider data, if you love the data, if you want to help people data, like Austin, right now, my question, you give me data like 1 million record COVID-19, profile of our Austin area, data. So I have a 1 million record. So you ask me, hey guy, I want to know how many people they need vaccine right away. Their age is over 65. Simple, right? So how do I know that? Then you run to SQL command. Is a generic structured query language. The two things, one data, storage is a data warehouse, and SQL. If you learn SQL command different way like select, where, group, and it's a group, right? It's my question to answer how many people living in right now over 65 years old. Very simple, right? SQL command. Now is the age group. Age group by 65 equal or higher than 65. That they give you name and address and their age. Then you arrange for vaccine for them who already don't do that, that kind of thing. Last one is a very important thing, is a report. Why you go for report? Because if when you published your report, we have say 1 million 65 years old, old people living in Austin. I got the answer. When you put this report visually, is a graphical, 65 to 1 million, and young people maybe 500,000. Say example, less than 65 years old. So when you put the graphics, data visualization in our local newspaper, then all kind of people, they understood what is going on in Austin, how many people they need the vaccine right away, maybe my grandfather, maybe your grandfather. Some make sense what I'm meaning that? I'm trying my best, is okay?
So basically, so next time when you watch the news, for example, and you see that they're talking about all the stats for COVID and who's received a vaccine and how many people in this area, in this region, or even if you remember back to when the election happened and they were showing you all the different votes and all of that, there's somebody in the background doing this, what he's talking about, using these different data sets of different software, hardware pieces for data to collect all that information to show you a nice pretty graph to explain what is going on in the background. So that's just another opportunity out there for a career. If you considered it, data is always going to be used in the background to show you information that we need, to make decisions, or information you might need that would impact your life in what you're doing on a daily basis. So.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
And yeah, may I share one thing, if you don't mind? I can share one folder. Is okay? I can share one folder. Yeah, Isa.
I'm sorry.
I can share one folder. I want to show my 1 million data where I put in together.
Let's
Just 1
see.
minute. Share my screen. Is okay?
Okay.
You'll have to stop sharing.
Yeah, I'd say that stop sharing, and then he'll have to share his screen. Do you know how to use to share your screen, Darraj?
Yeah. You see that?
No, not yet. You have to go to the bottom of the screen. You see all our faces? You see all our faces on the screen? Go to the bottom where it says mute, stop video.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
Share screen.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
But I think we have screenshots of it in the presentation.
You see now my screen?
Okay, that's Zoom. Now you got to go to the file. What are we looking at?
You see that?
Yes, we see your screen.
Okay. I saw you, this is a whole report, data analysis. I finished. You see that next is a whole report. You can read that. I already put over there. And this is my, give me a second. Yeah. Look, this is my raw data. It's a 1 million record is there, ready for you, very handy. When you're interested, you let me know.
I think we lost you, Darraj, on the microphone. We can't hear you. How about this? How about we go back to, we can't hear you. One second. Matt, is there a way, well, I can select. Is there a way for you to change the control settings where I can share my screen again?
I think I can do that because I'm
okay.
Stop participant sharing.
Thank you. Okay, cool. Thank you. And I just messaged him and said we're going back to the presentation. I don't know what happened to the sound, but just in case he isn't able to come back on sound, essentially these are different platforms, data analytical platforms. You've probably heard of AWS and Amazon, services. They house a lot of data, and then a lot of companies, use their platform, their space to conduct business. Forms, when you fill out a form either on Google or on Microsoft, like for example, when you completed the form for our profile, for Autumn profile, on our website, that was a Microsoft form. And so that form is then able to then be exported, and we can use the answers that you submitted to then consolidate that into a report that we need to help us decide, if we're moving in the right direction in terms of how many people are participating, what the general interests are, and make other decisions regarding how we're able to help serve our community. And so we also use Power BI as another Microsoft tool. That's what the visualization tool that he mentioned at the end. There's actually ways to get certification in digital data visualization. So if you're, as you mentioned, if you're interested in, working with data, Power BI tool actually is very comprehensive in terms of making sure the numbers make a story. Making a story out of the numbers and then showing that on a screen. So for example, I mentioned we have, the election, and they were showing all the different polls and all over the United States, and they're showing what states, are done with the election process, but they're showing some counties, but these people have, according to history, using data, using historical data, that 75% of these people voted, one way, and the 25% voted another way. So based on those predictions or that information, they can most likely predict what counties are going to move in what way. But they're able to show you that and make a story out of it because they were using all these different data points, of past elections, using that, putting it in a system or one of these platforms like this, maybe even larger, and then using those reports to then make something that's visual and able to tell a story. So some of these other ones, Google Colab, GitHub, like I said, those are hosting services. The Hive, as you mentioned, Facebook is all about data. That's literally their business. Even though it is a social media platform, their business is harvesting data so they can then sell that information, about your interests to different companies so they can then, put ads on the website. That's how Facebook makes money. So at the end of the day, they use a large source like the Apache Hive, for example, you mentioned is an example of a Hive data warehouse that large companies use to take in a lot of data at a lot, at higher speed, and then put out different outputs that they need. So smaller companies like us, we use Power BI and Google Forms and all that. I don't know if you remember my first presentation. I think Julie, I presented to this class, or was it the other class? My first one was the morning class. I think it was the morning one, but I used to work at Oracle, and Oracle also is another person on this group on this list. They compete directly with AWS in terms of, using database systems. That's actually how the company started. But yeah, a lot of these companies that you run into where you're using your cell phones or your computers or you're working on social media, the back end is a huge data function. Darraj, are you there? Can you hear us? We can't hear you yet. This is his COVID, how he was able to gather those data points. And I remember we had this on the slide. So this is essentially who is showing you the raw data. So you have a form. It starts off on the left side. The person who is inputting information, it goes from one visual to another, essentially, right? You're answering these questions, but it spits out sorry, I'm pointing as if I'm in person. It spits out on step 2, the raw data report that you then export. Then you then go through, you're able then to filter and decipher what information you're turning the data into information. You're trying to decide what data points that you want to highlight or cover that's relevant to what you're trying to explain. You then go through, he has this real-time Google Sheet, a call center, and so that's also the raw data he was able to collect based on the call center versus those who did it on the Google form. And so through this process, it's really quick and simple. Then you go through and you make your report. And there's automated ways of spitting out these reports. Like I said, Power BI is a great tool. You can even go to like Excel, for example. You have an Excel document and you know how to make a chart out of, about, the cells, the rows and columns out of the cells. That's literally what it is, but it's on a much larger scale and it involves a lot of different calculations or different forms of presenting the data points. And so, as you mentioned, his study goal was to get to between 100 and 200 data points. End up getting 337 out of those reports. Out of that 337, 230 of those were valid and were able to be used towards the report. And he was able to then, basically answer the question, has anyone, passed away due to COVID-19? 105 people said no, and 118 people said yes. So if you go back to like that questionnaire, when they're asking all those different questions, essentially those different questions are the different, stories that we're trying to tell and explain, and then using those answers to develop a report like this. The second chart here, have you been affected? Have you been infected with the novel coronavirus? So that's basically, the coronavirus first strand. Total responses, like I said, that were valid case study points. We had not sure at 46, and then we had yes, and then no. Let's see, I just got a chat from Darraj. Let's see. Okay, so Then a couple of the questions, these last two questions that were on the questionnaire. Have you or anyone you care about been hospitalized because of the pandemic? And then have any of the following been affected by COVID-19? And so you can read also the descriptions at the bottom, basically explaining what the chart is depicting. But at the end of the day, when it comes to, telling a story from all those many data points that you saw in that spreadsheet with just numbers and characters, written on there, you're able to then convert that into a visual that isn't able to then be understood by, the masses. So if you're interested, in areas like this, explaining data, telling stories, it's really like storytelling, essentially, through a series of numbers and characters. But, if you're able to, make the data as we say, make it make sense, and use the data points that you're given, this might be a good field for you. If you're really meticulous and you pay attention to a lot of detail, and at the same time, you're able then to, like Nina said, make a lot of sense out of, not a lot of nothing, but make a lot of sense out of a lot of unsure, information. This might be a good field that you want to practice in, or maybe just have a skill in that might add to whatever you're wanting to pursue in your career. Here, if you want to participate in that case that we were just presenting, you could take a picture of this QR code. Darraj, when we were talking, he does have workshops he would like to share with those who are interested in, focusing on more details about gathering data and data analytics. So here's his email if you're interested in learning more about those opportunities. And you can see the portfolio that he has on GitHub library. So there's a link at the bottom. But if you wanted to, you can go ahead and take a picture of that QR code to register and get more information about that. Darraj, checking it again. Can you hear us? I want to take over. Does anybody have any questions? Does anybody wonder, any other ways data impacts, your daily lives, literally to the granular things that you probably don't even, think twice about? You can drop your questions in the chat, or you can unmute yourself, or maybe have any comments or experiences with data that you might have been aware of in the past or that you're working on now. I mentioned Autumn. Like I said, we use Power BI tool when we have a needs assessment form. We have the Autumn profile form, and we also have the Autumn Learn profile that you completed. And so all of those different areas of data help us understand, what the major demographic of people that we're targeting, and that it is, matching what we're trying to accomplish for the purpose of, creating Autumn. It's also helping us understand areas of interest that you might want to focus on. So we have, more people signing up for software development, that we're going to invest more time making sure we have professionals and, areas of opportunity for jobs or education that focus on software development. Same thing if you're focusing on, digital literacy skills. We see that and have an uptick in our stats for that, then we're going to shift that direction. So it does help, your major companies make decisions. Data helps. At the end of the day, you could be the person sitting in with the CEO making the decision on if they want to buy a company or not. That's how strong of an impact data has nowadays on technology. It's always had a strong impact, but we're realizing it at a more rapid rate in these past 10 years or so, how much data impacts how we run our companies, how we run our politics, how healthcare is being run. All that is based on data. Education, literally, everything is based on data. Anybody have any questions? I know I've shared with you in the past about our cohort series. We're back. That snow did not get us down. We had to reschedule. I will send Julie the link for the Eventbrite. I'll send it to your chat right now. We have 4 parts. Honestly, I forgot to put it here in the presentation, but we have 4 parts. There is the data science and software engineering or software development. I can't remember what exactly term he used, but there's a certificate program for that. There's a certificate program for Black Girls Drone, for drone technicians. There's a certificate program for CompTIA exams. So CompTIA certifications are like the industry standard when it comes to getting certifications in the technology field, technology industry. And there's a series of certificates you get that range from project management to cybersecurity to networking. There's a ton of things they cover. And so if you're interested in one of those certificate programs, we actually have a partnership with an organization that covers the core line of certificates. And there's like a track, and each course is about 7 weeks. So there's a program for that. And then last but not least, we have our partnership with Skill Point Alliance. So if you're interested in the manufacturing side of technology, like building chips that go in the Samsung phones, or maybe creating more types of semiconductors. Essentially, semiconductors are a lot of different chips and devices that go inside of your smaller devices. So if you're interested in that, that is also a program we have. And so that the first conversation is on March 15th, the next one's on the 17th, and then the 24th and the 25th. So I will send over that link here. I'm trying to do it on my phone, so I won't interrupt the screen. And then we have our annual event for Rethink Austin. And that is something that, now it's South by Southwest time, essentially. We will be hosting our Rethink Austin virtually this time. Instead of it being the entire day like we planned when things are in person, it will be, I think, 3 hours or so in the middle of the day on March 20th. Join us. We have conversations about how to rethink what Austin, is growing into, making sure you're part of the conversation, make sure you're part of the opportunities that are being presented with all these tech companies that are moving here, as well as, the DEI space and what that means and how it impacts Austin as a society and professionally in the tech space. So make sure you hop on for that. That is one of our major events. And thanks that you're all now Automites. Welcome to, our community. There's a lot of different opportunities, and we're going to go into more details with you guys. I just want to meet with Matt and Julie first to kind of go over some, details with them first. But you're going to be open to now, mentorship. You're always open to our events. You have the application that I'm showing here on the screen that has content for soft and hard skills. If you're interested in our apprenticeships, you can go ahead and get a head start on that. And we'll share all the information on that later. But you're now Automites, so we're glad to have you. And we'll see you not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after that.
So we had a question from April. Is the app in the App Store, or is it just a website?
So when you first go to the QR code, it does show as a website. If you have an iPhone, while you're on, like for example, this page here, right? If you clicked, make sure I say this right, because I did it on mine. You click options. So I'm going to show you here. Oops, clicked out of it. I already have it as an app, so it's not going to do it. So if you go to our website, if you go to use the app, it's going to go to the website for the app for PathStream, right? There's an option for you to add the application to your home screen, is the term that the iPhone uses. Android, I'm sorry, I had to do some homework on that side. I think my whole team, we all have iPhones. So Android, I don't know exactly what the term is on your side, how to move it to an app, but as you see on my phone, it is an app here. This last one, right there. So it can be an app on your phone. But the option is to move to home screen when you actually create your profile. I would advise you to create your profile first so that when you do move it to your home screen, you can access everything. Initially, it seems like you can access all the content on our app when you don't create a profile, but that is not the case. That is like a preview to kind of give you an idea of what we have to offer on our app. But make sure you make a profile, then add the phone to your at the actual home screen, then you can access everything in the app. Did that answer your question? Okay. Let's
So
see.
it's not something you can search for in the App Store. You're gonna
I
have to
didn't do it
scan
that. It's easier if you go directly to, if you use the QR code, it's faster. It's just, there's another company called Autumn, and I don't want you to get confused. The AUTM is used in different other acronyms for other companies and everything. So I would, I would advise to use the QR code, or if you go to our website and click the link, Get Trained, it will lead you to the same, the link. Also, make sure you follow our newsletter where we post different job opportunities, post different upcoming events, both with Autumn and with other organizations and companies that we partner with, and shares different news and just relevant, events that are tied to the tech community and the DEI space.
Yeah, if you just send me a list of those, I know you said March 20th.
Yeah,
and
I'm
March
sending you the
15th.
Eventbrite link.
Okay, I'll post those to our Google Classroom. So class, you
Perfect.
can keep an eye out for those. And some of those happen over our spring break. So
Yeah,
you get
no problem.
opportunity for,
I
well,
understand.
we do provide class credit for,
Okay.
and these like bonuses for work over spring break. So students will give you instructions on, if you do attend those events, some work you can do to get some bonus tokens for doing that.
Definitely. And we will be hosting it on Facebook Live, so it's easy to access. I'll send you, if you join us on Facebook, for Autumn AUTMTX, facebook.com/AUTMTX as well. That's a good place to find all of our upcoming events that we host on Facebook Live. It'll put you right to the page. There's a couple of questions you would answer about joining the Facebook community. That's just our way of filtering out, all these different kind of hackers and all of that that we have encountered in the past. But just answer those questions. Make sure you answer all of them, especially the last one that says, do you, abide by the rules of joining the community? That will let us know that we can add you to the community, and you'll be set from then. But okay, Julie, I'm gonna email you just because I can't get to it from my phone and I don't want to interrupt the screen here.
Okay.
But thanks everybody. Sorry about the sound with Darraj. He really does enjoy, sharing information. If you have any questions, like I said, feel free to take down his email, darrajit@yahoo.com, I believe it was, at Outlook. Here if you have any questions about data analytics.